Hey, what's up, guys? Ray Master Flex. Um, I was thinking about doing this a while ago. I've just been very busy with college because of it's getting close to finals time, so I'm busy with that. WrestleMania 35 review. Um, I know I'm a little late on this considering it's been about 9 days or so since WrestleMania happened, but I wanted to do a review on it just like how I did on NXT Takeover in New York. So you know, it was an 8 hour show, 7 to 8 hour show. I'm not really gonna talk about the pre-show, because I'm just really gonna base it off the results. Braun Strowman won the men's battle royal as expected. I kind of knew, especially with the whole guys from Saturday Night Live, I knew they were gonna have him win. It just, you know, Buddy Murphy lost his Cruiserweight Championship to Tony Nese. I actually seen some of that match because I started watching uh, the pre-show while that match was going on. So I seen the match. It was pretty good. And now Tony Nese is the new Cruiserweight Champion. Really decent matchup here. You had you had Carmella in the women's battle royal. You know, I really wish, because it just seems like, and they've really proven ever since Cesaro won the Andre the Giant Memorial that it's pointless. Like, there's no meaning to it. Like, they do it every year, and it's like they don't do anything to elevate these guys that have won the Andre the Giant Memorial. It's really had no value to it. Like, you nearly thought that Cesaro was getting a push because after he won the Andre the Giant Memorial, then he had like there was like a Extreme Rules Triple Threat elimination match with him, RVD, and Jack Swagger, and he actually won the match. But then when they put him in the feud with Sheamus, which of course this was their first feud with each other, he lost both times against Sheamus for the United States title. So it's like um if you're gonna have these guys win the Andre Giant Memorial, but not do anything to elevate them at all, what's really the purpose of it? Just to say you won a big trophy. I mean, that's pretty much what it is at this point. They have proven, even with Baron Corbin, who is one of the last people to win it on the actual show itself, because it's gotten to the point where they pretty much have a pre-show every year now. They've only had it on the main show twice. The first year is when it all started, WrestleMania 30, which I thought it was good then because it was something new and refreshing. Now they just do it every single year just to get people in the match at WrestleMania. And it's to the point where they just put it on pre-show. And you know, I just don't understand. But it is what it is. Then you had the Revival losing the tag team, Raw tag team championship to Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. This was rumored to happen for a long time, where Kurt Hawkins' streak was going to end at WrestleMania. I just kind of wish it was on the main card. They did that match, but and I could definitely tell the Revival is on their way out. I can really see that they're not going to be in WWE for much longer. I would really be surprised, honestly. Okay, so let's just get to the main roster, the main show here. So first up, you have Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins. First of all, let me just say this. I looked at a lot of sources, regarding the reason of why the match started off the show. Because when I first seen Paul Heyman come out, because first uh, you had you had Alexa Bliss come out. She was like, basically saying how she can make magic WrestleMania with just a snap of her fingers, and then Hulk Hogan comes out and he starts talking after he's done Paul Heyman just walk straight through him, like, what is this? What the hell is this? And he basically says on the mic that if we're not going to main event, then we're just going to start the match now. And when I was watching it with my friend, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, why is the Universal title match the first match in the card? It just really threw me off. And I just, I think, I think the whole match lineup in general was just really awkward how they did it. Like, compared to past WrestleManias, I don't really get why they did the lineup the way they did it. It was very confusing. Of why they did it how they did it. It would have made more sense for them to do AJ Styles and Randy Orton first if they were going to have that be the second match versus doing this match first. And like, you know, but and I looked at a lot of sources and basically, Brock Lesnar got into a conflict with Vince. First of all, he showed up late to the show. He got in a conflict with Vince because what Paul Heyman was saying on the mic wasn't just him saying it. It was like, for real, this actually was the case. Brock got into a conflict with Vince because he wanted to go last. The main event, but Vince was like, well, the women, I can't do that. The women are already supposed to be main event the show. And then, he told him that he was going to go second to last to the Kobe Kingston match. I think he was actually supposed to follow up to the Kobe Kingston Dan Bryan match. I think his match was going to be after the Kobe Kingston Dan Bryan match prior to the main event. And he just wasn't having it. And then he just told him, just let me go first, start the match off first. Vince didn't want that to happen. And he almost got physical with Vince. Obviously Vince um, sees Brock as a big attraction because if Brock was doing this in another company, there's no way he would have got away with this. I mean, Vince, as old as he is, and as much things as he's done to other guys, got fired, and people getting released and stuff. Brock would have been let go a long time ago with the things he's done. This is the second WrestleMania in a row that he's done something to Vince. Like last year, he was pissed off with the man. He threw the title at Vince. And then this year, he gets in another competition with Vince. It's like, if you're going to keep having these problems with Brock, just don't let him stay. Let him leave. And he's supposed to be gone to go off the UFC and battle with whoever that guy is he's facing in UFC. And I hope he stays. I honestly hope he stays. Brock, the Brock I used to know, uh, 2003, 2002 to 2004 Brock is not the same Brock we see today. And don't get me wrong, when Brock first came back in 2012, in that period to about 2015, like his best time when he feuded with John Cena, Extreme Rules, when he feuded with Triple H, all from SummerSlam of that year, all the way to WrestleMania. When he feuded with CM Punk, that was a great feud. He had some amazing matches around the time he first came back. But once gave birth to the Suplex City thing, which didn't start until after he ended Undertaker Streak, which was like the most shocking thing. It still is one of the most shocking moments of WrestleMania history. Uh, After he ended Undertaker Streak, then that's when he faced John Cena and hit him with 16 German suplexes and started the whole Suplex City thing. And then from there, it's just been going on ever since, and he's pretty much been doing it in all of his matches. And it's been proven that Brock seems to only work well with smaller guys. That's really the only time you see Brock put in his best effort. You can tell when Brock doesn't give a shit in the match because he pretty much barely does anything. I can say out of the whole time Brock has been back, there's only a few matches that I would say were probably Brock's best matches since he's been back here. One was Cena at Extreme Rules was a good one, in my opinion. Obviously, the one he had with CM Punk at SummerSlam 2013, the Triple H stuff was decent. Um, that feud went for a pretty long time. Because even after WrestleMania, they had another match at Extreme Rules in which Brock won. Um, you know, when he won the WWE World Championship from Cena, he looked like a legitimate beast at the time, and then faced Cena again at Night of Champions. And Seth Rollins. He had a decent match at the Royal Rumble 2015 with Seth Rollins and John Cena and Triple Threat. That was an amazing match. WrestleMania with Roman Reigns was a lot better than the one they had last year by a long shot. So he's had some great matches since returning. There's no question about that. But I don't know, man. I just think of seeing Brock Lesnar and like the way how they did this. Almost like if we're not gonna go last and we're gonna go first, and Brock comes out, beats the shit out of Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins hit him with some like two low blows, hit him with three curb stomps, and then the match is over. Seth Rollins winning the Universal Championship. Not the way that I would have pictured the match to go. I would have expected it to be, um, probably. I would have thought this match compared to what he had with Dean and Roman probably would have been much better, considering I guess you can say Seth is a small guy. And I mean, with the Dean match, there's been a lot of mixed feelings on that one. Paul Heyman tends to blame Dean as to why that match didn't deliver. I think if when I look at back at the match, I think Dean really did. Dean, you could tell he really did want to put a lot of stuff into the match. It was just Brock that wasn't willing to. You can tell when Brock's not willing to put in the effort in the match because he really shows his laziness, and that's pretty much what this was. He was trying. He took out all the tools in the match to make it interesting. Um, but Brock didn't want to go. He just didn't want to take it to that level. So, I thought this match here was going to be probably the icing of the cake. Um, it would have been interesting because there was rumors that if it weren't for the competition and Brock Lesnar being late and stuff, he had still went on with the second to last match. He was supposed to defeat Seth Rollins for the Universal title, retain the title, and then lose it to Roman Reigns at Saudi Arabia. I'm actually glad that did not happen because this has nothing to do with Roman Reigns. I'm just sick of seeing Brock. I hope that Seth Rollins winning the title means that there's new life to the Universal title. You can finally see it being defended every pay-per-view. Don't have to worry about waiting to see it get defended on special pay-per-views. Someone hogs the title for a year. I don't know. Maybe Seth, maybe he might hold on to the title for that long. I don't know. I don't know anybody right now. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are well deserved who can take the belt from him, but I don't know if they're going to do that. I'll just have to see, who's going to actually take the belt off Seth Rollins. But it was a really good feel good moment. I definitely wouldn't have started off the show with that match though, but once I figured out and read some sources of why that happened, now I understand why they did that. So Seth Rollins picked up the victory against Brock Lesnar as he should. There's no reason why Brock should retain the belt. I'm definitely glad that Seth is the new Universal Champion. So hopefully we can get some new, uh, we can deal with some new guys. Have his belt. Maybe he hasn't really done much yet. The last two Raws, other than being like tag matches and stuff. Well, actually, no. He faced Kobe Kingston last Raw, but not after WrestleMania. It was supposed to be a unification match, and it got interrupted by Sheamus and Cesaro. Didn't turn for a tag match for whatever reason. I don't think it wanted to happen. You knew that it wasn't going to happen, but that was like the worst way possible to mess the match up. Then Superstar Shakeup, it was just in a six-man tag team match. With Roman Reigns and AJ Styles just came from SmackDown Raw and went against Barry. about wrestling. So God knows why they've been a team trio, just annoying. But so far we haven't really seen any creative direction for Seth, but hopefully, with him being Universal Champion, he can actually, have some decent matches. Probably do some other challenges, stuff he did there, Title Championship, just to make it really relevant because that title needs as much relevance as possible. Brock made it so irrelevant with how long he's kept. You just kind of need someone like Seth to just bring life to that belt. The one time where the belt was going to get relevant, uh, and it seemed as if it was getting somewhere between Roman winning at SummerSlam. I mean, no one really cared for Roman, no one really wanted to see him win it, but hey, I mean, at least you were going to see it week after week. He did actually get the fitting it in Raw. Um, the night after SummerSlam against Finn Balor, which he retained. So he tried to bring some relevancy to the belt. I just the belt has been so useless, and one of the reasons because Brock has kept it for so long. He lost it SummerSlam, didn't win it again at Crown Jewel when Roman was out there. I just don't get it. But anyway, next up you had Randy Orton and AJ Styles. There was an issue with the lighting in this match. People couldn't see, so the reaction was pretty hard for people to react to this match. I thought the match was decent. I would have much rather had this start off the show instead of wasn't. But I thought the match was decent. You know, Randy Orton had a really amazing suplex he did from AJ Styles in the top rope. AJ had a great 450 splash he did on Randy Orton. Orton tried to hit AJ Styles with a RKO from the top rope as he was going for the phenomenal forearm. Randy Orton reversed. AJ Styles stopped him and ended up hitting the phenomenal forearm to get the win. Um, AJ also hit a phenomenal forearm on Randy Orton outside the ring. Orton hit an RKO out of nowhere. I think AJ was trying to do something, and Orton just kind of hit him with the RKO out of nowhere. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was surprised that AJ didn't win with the Styles Clash. I for sure thought he was going to win that way, but we didn't see that happen in this match. We did see two phenomenal forms. The first one was outside the ring, and the second one was in the ring. Um, but I think this was just a good, solid matchup right here. Nothing special, but definitely something that was pretty decent. I loved the promo they had against each other prior to WrestleMania, where they went back and forth. That was really decent, especially when AJ called him out for failing drug test. I found that pretty interesting because, as we all know, Orton should have been fired from WWE a long time ago because he actually uh, failed the well witness policy, I believe, 3 times, way more than you're supposed to. Because if you get 3 strikes, you're out. Orton should have been fired from WWE a long time ago. He even destroyed like a hotel room or something. So he should have been fired a long time ago for the amount of times he got in trouble. But they managed to keep him because he's one of their biggest stars. But I mean, if that was someone else, they would have been fired from the company. And AJ just kind of exposed him for it. And you had when Orton took out and put the little hand gesture. This is prior to WrestleMania. He put the little hand gesture of the Bullet Club. Tried to say that this isn't the house that AJ Styles built. Uh, Basically comparing their two careers of what AJ did while he was in WWE, while he was main event matches. AJ was in TNA. AJ was doing obviously he didn't mention TNA, but AJ was doing that. It just I really like the promo work with these two guys. They didn't really build it to the full potential, but I really like the promo work between the two guys. I wish that they hadn't overused it so much, like this match. Um, because as we all know, this is not the first time we've seen Orton and AJ Styles. This is the first time WrestleMania we've seen it. And the first time it happened was actually last year. No, it was in 2017. Who was the first time it happened? This is when Orton. It was basically a match on SmackDown where whoever won was going to face Bray at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. I believe it was a stipulation for this match. And Orton ended up winning because this had to have been not long after he destroyed the house, Sister Abigail house of Bray Wyatt when this match happened. He had because he didn't even win. He didn't even win the battle royal that they did. It was like a double. It was like a double elimination with Luke Harper and AJ Styles. So like he didn't even win that match. So this was like AJ and Randy Orton, and Orton won the match. So like I said, this is not the first time we've seen this. The first time it actually happened on SmackDown Live, and pretty much the same story. Um, he locked in the ab crutcher, which he did at WrestleMania as well, but Orton managed to grab the ropes and stop himself from tapping. I really thought, because whenever AJ steeps his hand on your ankle like that, just pushes it hard, it just looks so painful. Orton managed to grab the ropes and stop himself from tapping out. So I just think that I thought it was a decent match. Definitely good stuff between both guys. I kind of wish that they would have done something prior to the match so that the fans could see, because there were a lot of cheers when Orton did stuff like Orton went for the DDT and he usually does for the ropes and stuff like that. There were a lot of cheers when Orton did stuff. Not much cheers when AJ was doing things, but he did get cheered when he won. I like the Pele kick he did out of nowhere. There was just a lot of good stuff in this matchup right here. So definitely a decent match. Nothing like spectacular. Um, I just think that number one, um, they should have done something with the lighting so fans could actually see. And number two, they shouldn't have overused this match because the first time it happened was SmackDown 2 years ago. Then it happened again. Um, you can technically say that it happened again in the Elimination Chamber. I mean, before I get to that, the gauntlet match that Kobe Kingston was in, because the last person was AJ. The last person to get to come to that match was Orton after AJ made Kobe Kingston tap out and they only had like 2 minutes left in the program of the show, and Orton won. That was like the second time Orton beat AJ Styles. Then he eliminated AJ Styles for RKO in the top rope at the Elimination Chamber. So he beat him like 3 times. It only made sense for AJ. It wouldn't have made much sense for Randy to win, given how many times Orton's already beat him. So next up, I can't remember. I mean, I might just end up going out of order with this, but I didn't watch it from the top to bottom. I think the next match after this was the women tag team championship match, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the next match. I might just go out of order, but it's fine. So you had the Iconics, um, Sasha Banks and Bill, Nia Jackson, Tamina, uh, the Diva, the Dude, Beth Phoenix, Italian. Um, Not one of the best matches on the card. I mean, I gotta give it. I gotta give credit of saying that it was rather shocking that Iconics won the belt. As you know, now there's been a lot of things going on with Sasha and Bill being happy about dropping belts, being told they were dropping belts to Iconics and things like that. I didn't expect Iconics to win. They were like the last choice I would have thought we would have win. If the belt were to change, I certainly didn't think it was going to be them to actually take the belts from it. This was not one of the best matches on the card. I would say the results were very surprising. Most of the card, you kind of knew who was going to win, but this matchup right here, I don't think a lot of people expected Doc Collins to win. I think the only thing that really stood out for this match is just the unpredictability of Doc Collins winning, because I don't think anyone really expected them to win. I certainly didn't expect them to win. I didn't think they were going to win the match. I for sure thought Sasha and Bailey were finally going to get their WrestleMania. Well, not finally get a WrestleMania. Well, for Sasha, yes, because she hasn't even won a match at WrestleMania. And for Bailey, she hasn't gotten that one before. I thought they were going to get it together, and that didn't happen. But there were some pretty good spots in the match. Um, Tamina and Nia Jax. I wouldn't really say they did as much in this match. It was mostly Beth Phoenix and Natalia and Sasha and Bailey who did most of the work in this match. Um, and I think the match ended where uh, Beth Phoenix hit her glam slam on uh, it was either Bailey or Sasha. I can't remember which one it was. And then Peyton Royce just kind of threw them out of the ring and then went for the pin and they won the belt. So, definitely something I didn't expect to happen. Um, I'm not going to really talk too much about this match for a couple of reasons. One of those has a lot to do with the backlash after this match, but Alcantara did win. And so next up, you had um, yeah, I think I'm just losing the order of this WrestleMania at this point. Uh, let's see here. So next up, yeah, I'm just gonna get um, straight into the Kobe Kingston and Daniel Bryan match. Easily my favorite match of the whole show, right? Um, this match had the best crowd reaction, the most investment. This match, oh, this was the match. Okay, so you had the Falls Count Anywhere with Shane McMahon and Miz. Let me just touch on that before I get to the Kobe and Daniel Bryan. I thought this was a decent matchup right here. For Shane to be 49 or 50, I think he's 49, about to hit 50, and to be in the shape he was in this match, I mean, you got to give the man a lot of credit. Um, the only thing that I never understood about Shane is the fact that he doesn't know how to throw good punches, because it's been very known that Shane, the punches that he tends to throw are real punches. If you look back in Survival Series of 2016, even Chris Jericho was getting annoyed by the punches that Shane was throwing at him. Shane, like, the punches he be throwing are like real punches for the most part. He doesn't know how to fake them. Like most of the punches he throw are legit. And so this matchup right here, um, you know, of course, the Miz's dad got involved. And pretty much, Shane tried to run away at the start of the matchup. As soon as the bell rung, the Miz just ran straight into him. He tried to run away. Then he got us some cheap shots in on the Miz. And, I really hope that this whole dad thing stops. I think, honestly, I mean, The Miz has done an excellent job as a heel. Most of his championships, pretty much all the championships he's won, he's been a heel. I think if they just stop this whole dad thing, him trying to like please his father and stuff, he could be a legitimate babyface. Most people don't want to believe that. A lot of people want to turn heel because he's been a heel for so long. You're just not really used to seeing him as a babyface because he doesn't really portray the role so well. But let's not forget he was a babyface before, and I think this one was a little better than the last time he was a babyface. I think at that time he wasn't fully ready to change the babyface like 2013. But I think this time, this definitely was a much better babyface version of the Miz compared to the last time he was a babyface. Obviously, you can see that he's grown since then. Um, he's definitely uh, grown a lot since the last that he was a babyface. So I think this matchup right here really good stuff, man. Shane tried to run away, and he just started pounding on the Miz. Then he was going to coach on the Miz until Shane's dad came out and tried to stop him, and Shane's dad ended up putting a scar on Shane's face. Shane started beating up the Miz's dad. I'm saying, the Miz's dad. And after that, that's when the Miz just started pounding on Shane. So it took for him to attack his father to actually start to get out of the table that he had been laying on for like the longest time. And then he just started pounding on Shane and just basically beating his ass all the way until he got up to the ring apron. And they got as high as you could get. You know, with any Shane match, there's going to be something high risk that he does. And first, he nearly kicked Shane from it. The area looked very similar to when Shane went against, I think, Steve Blackman at SummerSlam 2001, actually, or 2000. I think it was 2001 or two. It was one of those years. I think it was 2000. Looked very similar to that spot, or when he went against, you know, when he went against the Big Show at Backlash 2000. Like the area looked very similar to that spot. He bounced off of something. It just looked really crazy when the Miz bounced him off like that. And then he did a suplex on Shane all the way from like it had to be at least 10 to 20 feet high. And Shane ended up being the one to pin the Miz. And Shane won the match. And now the Miz is on Raw. So I'm interested to see how long they're going to keep up with the Miz man, considering that uh, he's been a heel for so long. Uh, one of the reasons I think they may have turned him babyface has a lot to do with the fact of his Miz and Mr. Shoe he's been doing to promote that. I think that could also be a reason why he turned babyface. Even though he's been doing that since like July of last year, he was a heel while he was first doing the show. But I think that also has a lot to do with him turning babyface. But I just think that if he just stops with this whole bad thing, um, I think he would be a legitimate babyface if they just book him well and they just stop this whole bad thing. He's got to get him definitely a good match. Um, prior to the Kobe Kingston and Bryan match, I thought this match right here was probably the best match in the show thus far. You know, the Universal title match was a good opener, but there was not much to it other than Brock Lesnar beating his ass before the match even started. And then when the match officially started, you hit about three suplexes and then two low blows and three curves and then so it wasn't that cool. But this match here I thought was the match of the night until Kobe Kingston and Daniel Bryan. Kobe Kingston and Daniel Bryan, let's get into that one. WWE Championship, excellent matchup right here. You can tell that Daniel has played a very, very great role as a heel to have literally the whole crowd chanting for Kobe instead of Day. I thought coming into this match that there were going to be mixed reactions because usually, even with heels, like take for example when The Rock was going against Hollywood Hulk Hogan in WrestleMania 18, Hollywood Hulk Hogan was a heel at the time, was considered a heel. And when they had the match at WrestleMania, the crowd was booing uh, The Rock in Toronto. He wasn't getting a lot of cheers. Hollywood Hulk Hogan was getting like a warm welcoming. Uh, but at this WrestleMania here, like the whole crowd was chanting for Kobe. This is the first time that I've seen a heel play so well that the whole crowd was chanting for the babyface. And you could just tell that Daniel has done such an excellent job as a heel to have the whole crowd just turn against him to play as an evil friendly guy, to play as his eating, who just despises the food he tells you all these things you shouldn't do and said all the things we're doing to mess up his plan. And you can just tell that he's really lived up to this character. He's really uh, this is probably like Daniel Turner Hill was one of the best decisions that he could ever make for his career. Um, and this match, picture perfect from start to bottom. So much perfection in this match from both guys. So much reversals that Daniel had for like every move that Kobe tried to go for. There was like a counter for it, right? Um, you know, and it looked picture perfect. Daniel went for a running knee after 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 Xavier Woods and Biggie had attacked Eric Rowan because Kobe had got them out the pitch, had got him out the picture, he got hit by the running knee by Daniel Bryan, and he kicked out, and the crowd just was on their feet. I nearly thought it was going to be over then, and I was shocked that it wasn't. And Kobe did this move. Um, he did this move that I've never seen him do to Daniel Bryan, and he just got like a huge reaction for it. This was like the first time I seen Kobe go for a move like this, and he got like a tremendous reaction. It was just crazy. When Daniel had Kobe locked in the bell lock and kept saying, Kobe get the ropes, Kobe get the ropes. And I think he countered him to the lapel lock at least two times. And Kobe managed to get out of it. I was pretty concerned, like Kobe get the ropes. Like I was just chanting my ass off for Kobe Kingston's match. Kobe, definitely busted his ass in this match. You got to give both men credit here. It takes two men to make a good match. This was by far the best match in the show. Um, Kobe becomes the first black wrestler to win the WWE Championship. Definitely a feel good moment here. It took him 11 years to do it. I'm just more interested to see how long they're going to have him keep the belt. 'Cause so far, they haven't really moved in any direction who this first is going to be against, considering the fact that I believe they said Daniel actually got injured. But this was definitely a great matchup between both guys. So much perfection between both guys. So much amazing reversals, so much amazing counters. Um, it was everything that you could want in a matchup right here. This was like pure perfection, and I really enjoyed every bit of it. This was a hell of a matchup. This matchup right here is just one of the many reasons of why I will always be a wrestling fan. It's just an amazing matchup right here. This match, I wasn't as loud as I was for Johnny and Adam Cole, but I definitely was chanting hard for Kobe Kingston to get his moment, and he did. And the crowd was on their feet. He hit him with Trouble in Paradise, did not the match. And that was it. I thought Danielson kicked out of Trouble in Paradise. So that was only one. But it definitely the reversals, the counters that Daniel was doing to Kobe were amazing. Kobe going for that amazing move that I never seen used was really good. And you could just see like every time Kobe did a move on Daniel, the crowd was chanting yes. But whenever Daniel did stuff, they were booing. And you could just tell that Daniel has done an excellent job as a heel. He's done a phenomenal job to get the crowd to hate you this far to where you get no cheers. It just proves how powerful your work as a heel has been, and it really has been powerful. He proved it in this match. This was definitely a good matchup. I knew I was missing something. Well, I knew I was going to lose track of it, but it's all right. Anyway, this was definitely a good matchup right here. Kobe Kingston got his moment. I was surprised that the match went on as early as it did. I think that's one of the reasons as to why when the Batista Triple H match happened after this one, it wasn't as much of a crowd reaction because they had just reacted to the Kobe Kingston and Daniel Bryan match. This is one of the reasons why I said this WrestleMania lineup was really weird because the way that the matches, by the time like a really good match ended, they would do something solid and then the crowd wouldn't really react as much. I don't think having Batista and Triple H after this match was a good choice. This match should have happened a little later on in the show uh, because it just I don't know. I don't know why they did the lineup the way they did. I think it kind of fucked up some people because by the time they got to the main event, the crowd pretty much burned out. I mean, there were people cheering, but you could tell that they were burned out, and you could just tell that it just wasn't the same anymore. So Kobe Kingston got his big moment. I'm really happy for him. Definitely had his kids come out, had his wife come out. So that was a good moment right there. So the Usos, I knew I was gonna lose track. The Usos defended the SmackDown Tag Team titles against Cesaro, um, Ricochet, Aleister Black, um, Six Nakamura, Rusev. Good, decent matchup right here. The Usos retained. Let me just say this about this match. Cesaro and Sheamus were like the highlights of this match with the Cesaro swings that Cesaro managed to put on everybody and the 10 beats of the baton that Sheamus managed to put on everybody were definitely the highlights of this match right here. The match ended with a double splash with the Usos retaining the belts. And I'm going to just say this. I'm definitely glad that the Usos won, even though even though I feel bad for Shinsuke and Rusev who haven't won a pay per view. Well, for Rusev, he hasn't won a pay per view in a very long time. But I also feel bad for them because this is like Shinsuke's second loss at WrestleMania. He hasn't won a WrestleMania yet, and so I kind of felt bad for him for that. James Cesaro also this is the third consecutive WrestleMania they've lost as a team. In general, Cesaro hasn't won a WrestleMania since WrestleMania 30. That was like the last WrestleMania he won. I don't don't count WrestleMania 31 because that was a pre-show. As far as the main card, he hasn't won a WrestleMania since 30, which is really sad because he's been teaming with Sheamus for like the last three WrestleManias, and they've lost all three times. It's really sad. But I'm glad the Usos won mainly because this is only their second time being showcased in the main card. As you know, it took the Usos, they basically busted their ass off for about 5 years before they were finally, about 6 years before they were finally put into the main card. They've been on the pre-show every year, even when they were SmackDown Tag Team Champions. No, even when they were Tag Team Champions in 2014, their title match was on the pre-show. And it's just bullshit, man. Like every year, all the way until last year, they were on the pre-show up until they were SmackDown Tag Champions last year, and now they finally got to be on the main card, but the match was bullshit because it didn't last very long. The blood and guts and every day. I like how they gave this match a little bit more time. Um, the Usos got to shine a lot longer in this match. That's one thing I was happy about is that they actually got to showcase themselves a lot longer. That did not happen the previous match. Um, they didn't have a lot of time last year, so they got a lot more time for this match, and they did what they could do. So it was definitely they had a good amount of super kicks they gave everybody. Ricochet was looking good as always. Alistair Black looked really good in this match. Everyone showcased their best move, and you know, and in the end, the Usos came out on top. So definitely glad that they retained SmackDown Tag Team titles. Then you had Batista and Triple H here. This match here was Batista's retirement match. It was done for him to basically pay back for Triple H. Um, you know, for all the things Triple H has done for mentoring him, bringing him up to the, bringing him up in evolution, and just basically being building success from there. And the whole story behind this match was that Triple H has never beaten him, and he was basically going to keep rubbing it in and put an end to it. So I thought this matchup, uh, you know, it was kind of weird how Batista made his entrance, how he kind of slid from the ring, and you know, he was having trouble. I don't know what was going on with Batista, but he just looked kind of out of it. And, I've heard some mixed reactions about this match. Personally, um, I've even heard some people say that they should have just scrapped it from the show. I mean, it was kind of hard for them to get the fans behind this for a few reasons. For one, you knew that Triple H wasn't going to retire, and I don't know what it is with like these Triple H like matches where they say that he's putting retirement matches, which the last time he had that was against Brock Lesnar, and it was pretty much the same way. Or just like a Triple H match where he hasn't beaten someone even in a long time, where he just hasn't beaten someone. You know that Triple H is going to win. I mean, the same story was in when he went against the Undertaker at Super Showdown. They were saying that was going to be their last match, and they were saying how Triple H hadn't beaten the Undertaker in a very long time. And what happened, he beat The Undertaker. It's like whenever Triple H is put into these situations, you kind of know that he's going to win the match. That's pretty much what this was. You knew that Triple H was going to win because regardless, Batista was going to retire anyway, and all he wanted was to get back to Triple H. So you already knew that was going to happen. So it was kind of like you knew what to expect. So the crowd was kind of not as invested, but you kind of already knew what was going to happen. But it was pretty brutal. You had Triple H uh, actually pull out the ear pierce, the nose pierce of Batista, which looked really disgusting when he did that. That was pretty intense. It wasn't the same one he wore when he first came back at the end of February. It was actually a blue color. And this one, the one there was like a silver color. So it was two different colors. He pulled that out, which looked really disgusting. You know, you had you had him spear Batista on the table. I don't know what was going on with that announce table, but it took a very long time for someone to break one of those announce tables. It took him to spear Batista for that announce table to be broken. Um, you had Batista spear Triple H. I have to say that for me watching this match, for Batista and Triple H to be relatively about the same age, for them to do what they did, you gotta at least give them credit for that. Batista, you could definitely tell that obviously he trained himself for this match. He looked in pretty decent shape for this to be his final match. I would say that you know for this to be his last match, he definitely looked in pretty good shape. I'll give him that. He did a lot of things in this match that you wouldn't have really thought he was gonna do. I mean, you know, uh, he hit Triple H with the Batista bomb. Triple H kicked out. Triple H did with the pedigree the first time he kicked out. He took out the sledgehammer. They both had a sledgehammer, but Ric Flair threw a sledgehammer at Triple H. Hit Batista's sledgehammer. Then with the second, I think it was, it was, was I think it was, that's right. It was close to pretty much how he kept his career there. And there you go with that. A lot of good spots in this match. Again, for this season match, I would say that he was in good shape. You know, I didn't hate the match. Um, you know, did you really think that people were going to retire? That was going to be Triple H's last match. Maybe no. Triple H always finds ways to insert himself into WrestleMania. Like I don't know what it is, but he always tends to find ways to get himself a match at WrestleMania, regardless of how long it takes. He finds a way, and he's almost doing what Undertaker is doing, wrestling once a year. But then at the same time, last year he actually wrestled quite a few times. Uh, so I don't know, man. I don't know. But you already knew Triple H wasn't this wasn't going to be his last, even though it should, because there's really no other reason for Triple H to be wrestling other than just say that know, I can run NXT and I can be a part time. Really, I don't see any other guys that he has a lot of that much history right now that he would actually need to wrestle. So that's kind of what I think. But, he did win. You kind of already knew he was going to win. And yeah, there goes the team. This time he didn't quit. This time he actually retired. But I do think that Batista, for this to be his last match, definitely, he definitely did a decent job. Definitely a decent job. Definitely a decent job. So next up, Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle. Not gonna take much time. As you know, the match was awful. Corbin won the match. Um, let me just touch on the things that weren't wrestling. So Cena came back as the doctor of economics after they showed trying to compare him to Babe Ruth. Uh, don't have much to say about that, but I was pretty excited to see Cena back as doctor of economics. This is the second time since 2012 he was feuding with The Rock that he's used that old gimmick again. So I just always find it awkward when they use it like in this era. It's like most of the children wouldn't know who the Doctor Economics is. Happening most of the like older, younger adults, about mid 20s, early 30s, most of the mid 20s that actually know that character. With the most older character he had at the time, it was one of the reasons why he got him so old because he was ill at the time and it really rose to the stardom. I think if he never had used that character, he would have never gotten to the point. But I think it was definitely that was something that come out. This is the second year he got into it for life. So I'm just like they're gonna do this 2 years in a row. When are they gonna have like a match with each other? I don't know. It's like the second time in a row. They didn't have a match. It was just like kind of crazy. There was a couple of things that happened outside of just like get a dance break with Archer. Pick the worst time to do it. By the time they picked to do it, the crowd was basically dead. Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin match where people were actually sleeping. Um, Definitely not the best way for Kurt Angle to retire. You already knew he was going to lose because most of the guys, just look at Batista. That was his last match. He lost. Most of the guys who retired have lost their retirement match. Ric Flair lost his retirement. It wasn't. He wasn't. He didn't announce he was retiring, but his career was on the line, and he lost. So did Shawn Michaels. Most of everyone who have been in their retirement match have lost. I hope that Kurt Angle recently he got attacked by also. I hope that that really was his last match. There's rarely been anyone, exception to people who just can't come back because they'll be paralyzed, like Edge. Most of everyone who said that they're retired have come back. Most of them don't stay retired. They come back out of retirement and they've had matches. And I just hope that he's not one of those people who does that. Like, I hope he legitimately stays retired because um, I just don't. Um, I just don't want Kurt to like collapse. You just know that Kurt isn't the same guy he used to be. I do like how he went for the moonsault during the match in the days. Um, he's not the same guy he used to be. So obviously, you could tell he wanted to lose. He wanted to put over the other guy. That's basically what he did. I don't think it really would have mattered for them to have had someone like John Cena or someone like that to face for anyone. I mean, because Kurt has proven that in his last couple of matches with like Jack Gable and a few other guys, Jack Gable and Paulo Cruz, and even AJ Styles and those Tanahashi, he's proven that he just doesn't have a lot left in him. He's proven that he's basically done. He's proven that Flash can't take it anymore. He's proven that he just doesn't. He's not the same Kurt that we used to know. But he is about to question one of the greatest of all time. Glad he's in the Hall of Fame. Um, and now he's done. I hope he stays that way. I hope that Lost Sullivan attack doesn't make him just stays retired. He has no reason to come back. I'm gonna just say this: when he first came back wrestling WWE last year, he looked good. He looked really good. Both him and Triple H looked really good in that match. A lot of people losing match at night. But however, after that, it just kind of got bad from there because he got around the time. He also looked good at Saudi Arabia too. I think original. Once you got to about the second event in Saudi Arabia, they did the Best in the World Series. You could just tell that Kurt, wasn't the same guy anymore. That she was. So I'm glad that he's done. Corbin certainly wasn't the best fit. It is news. Next up, we had Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio. Very quick matchup right here. Only reason why I can think of why they had this match end so quick was either due to time restraint because they were running out of time. Because by the time this match happened, it was already like 10 something, close to 11. So they either did this because of time restraints or they did this because Ray was still injured. Because Ray was injured uh, prior to the match, and they were kind of under question of if he was going to be able to perform. And Joe got his first WrestleMania match with Ray. Um, and let me just say this: I really didn't get the point of the whole Dominic stuff backstage. It wasn't going to lead into anything. There was no mention of Dominic after this. There was no showing of Dominic in the audience. I at least thought they would show him in the crowd. I'm like, what happened with that? I mean, they showed he got 2 times on SmackDown, saying how he was going to be at ringside for Rey Mysterio, making it seem as if they were going to book Rey to win the match. Then WrestleMania comes in, there's no mention of Dominic. You don't even see Dominic in the crowd. You just see Ray come in the ring. Um, the match ended so quick. He tried to put Samoa Joe in 619. Samoa Joe reversed it, put him in the killer clutch, and there you go. I mean, there was no mention of Dominic. There was no Dominic in the crowd. I don't get the point of that. They weren't going to continue with that. There was just no purpose of bringing that up. There was no purpose of showing him, no purpose of bringing it up. I just didn't get the point of that whole thing. I mean, it didn't make any sense to me. I'm not gonna. I was kind of blown and pissed off when I seen how quick this match ended. But I do think that this may have been 2 reasons why I could think of why this match ended so fast. Number one, probably had to do with time restraints because, as you know, they were already going lengthy on time and they had already been running for a long time. That's one of the reasons, and then the second reason has something to do probably because they didn't want to further Ray's injury if Ray was actually still injured. So those are the only 2 reasons why I can think of the match ended so quickly. I am glad that Samoa Joe finally, I mean, finally got rumored that last year he was actually supposed to be the one to face John Cena at WrestleMania, and that would have been really interesting. I would have loved to have seen that match because that's like a dream match that has never happened one on one, except for maybe when they were in maybe OVW or something. Maybe that's one on one wise, like actual television. Um, so I think that's the direction they were supposed to go. And they had two times they were going to do that. First, they were supposed to do that at SummerSlam. No, first they were supposed to do that towards the Murphy, but then Joe got injured. So then they just went with Cena and Roman. Then they're supposed to do it with Joe got injured again. So they just went with Cena and Undertaker. But it was actually going to be Cena and Joe. That would have been more interesting. Um, I'm just glad that Joe was healthy enough to make it to WrestleMania. Uh, the end result of the match as it did, um, it was what it was. That's not like the best one of match to end, but I am glad that I'm definitely glad that Joe got his moment. So then you had let's see, so you had the Intercontinental Championship match, Finn Balor and Bobby Lashley. Finn Balor came with the win. We all knew this was going to happen. They pretty much overused this match. I will say that this was like the better that both guys performed in a one-on-one match compared to the matches on Raw. Even the match they had Fastlane, or no, yeah, Fastlane, this was definitely even better than both of them. I love the spear that he gave Finn Balor, uh, Demon King. I love the spear he gave him on the apron and the ropes. That was a really amazing spear. I love the way he did his eyes. Um, uh, I don't know what he was wearing, some type of top or something. Made his eyes look really vicious. So you gotta give credit to Bobby Lashley for doing that. A lot of people have lost interest in Bobby Lashley. They really killed Bobby Lashley. I think this matchup right here is definitely probably underrated. Didn't really last very long, but I think it was good for what it was. You already knew that Finn was going to pick up the victory. It's just kind of a shame that they have to have him come out as that character to get wins. And like big pay per views for the most part, you know, I think he could have also came out as that character last year. They've proven that when he uses the Demon Cane, he's like unstoppable. They haven't had him lose once against the Demon Cane. Since he's been on the main roster. So, and he's only used it like a couple of times a year. Last year, the only time I've seen him use it was at SummerSlam, and he just didn't use it any other time after that. And I acknowledge when he went against Baron Corbin at SummerSlam, else again, the Demon King character. I don't think he used it any other time after that. And now he just brought it back for SummerSlam. They flipped they have him use it at certain times, which is pretty crazy. But you know, it was just it was what it was. Then we get to the main event. Um, Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, really good spots. All three women in this match. Um, I'm not going to be so critical and say that um, they didn't deserve the main event. There's a couple of botches that happened. The finish was a botch. Um, I've heard rumors that they purposely did it that way so that Ronda could say it. So, but And Charlotte do a good, amazing Spanish flies. I think it was Becky who was on road. You had Becky, who had Charlotte in disarmor. You also had Ronda in disarmor. Ronda tried to have both of them in the in her arm bar. They broke out of it. Ronda and Becky tossed Charlotte through the table. Um, there was a lot of good spots here. You could see there were blood on these, and the blood had to be real. I know the blood here was real. They were actually doing some of the things they were doing in this match. Um, Becky had stopped uh, Charlotte, I think, from having Ronda tap where she did a leg drop on top rope to Ronda. So it was, and then Ronda was about to hit Becky with a fiber kick, and she reversed it to roll up. But I think that this matchup right here, I thought it was good. I didn't think that it under delivered. I think it did good for what it was. People are saying that it shouldn't have been a event or whatever, but I think it was good for what it was. I'm not gonna like do shit about it. I think it was good for what it was. And, and I think it was good for what it was. To be honest. Um, you know, Becky won the day will be this unification national law and it's not Jersey. She definitely was happy that Becky got her moment. I definitely didn't want to see Charlotte win. Charlotte's had enough moments. And Ronda, I was surprised they had her pin Ronda, but especially with the fashion of how they did it. But I'm definitely glad Becky got her moment, especially considering the fact that this is like the first WrestleMania that Becky has won. Also, this is the second WrestleMania that Becky has been on the main card because let's not forget for like the last two WrestleManias, Becky is pretty much. Uh, I know last year she was in the pre-show, and I can't. I'm trying to think if she was in the card at all in 2017. I don't even think Becky was even on the card at all in 2017. They didn't do the women's battle royal until last year. She didn't even have a match in the card at WrestleMania 30. She didn't even have a match in the card. So the fact that she has a match in the card and she actually got the main event, that was definitely a huge step up for her. Because the last time she was even on the main card was WrestleMania 32 with Charlotte and Sasha Banks, which and many people stole the show that WrestleMania is on the match tonight. I think this match right here, the crowd was pretty burnt out. The crowd was pretty tired because they had already went through over 7.5 hours of the show. But I do think that this was a good match. That all three of them pulled out on stops, and Becky got the victory in the end. I'm very happy for her. So yeah. So that's pretty much it for this, guys. I might make a video about my thoughts on Superstar Shakeup that just happened. There's some things that I want to say about that, but I just wanted to touch on WrestleMania 35 because I haven't been able to. It's been really hard because of school, touching life, and be able to talk about it. I know now a lot of people have already done these videos, but here's what it is. This kind of went a little too longer than I wanted it to, so hopefully you guys can just bear with me and watch the So I just